You may currently be discovering a gift that life has given you. This could involve your job, the new school year, parenting, travel, starting a business, pursuing a new goal, or exploring a new relationship. Even though you are at the center of everything happening to you, doubt can sometimes start to cloud your judgment. You might find yourself standing in front of a high wall, uncertain whether you can overcome it. When you become indecisive about whether to take action, you begin to question if this journey is truly right for you. This leads you to ask yourself, do I really need something like this? Do I truly want this? Focusing too much on this uncertainty can cause you to second-guess everything that's happening to you. As you try to make sense of everything, you might feel like you're losing control or floating in a void. You may even overlook everything you've accomplished so far and think you're still at the beginning of your journey. How should I progress in my career? Do I really want to be in a relationship with these people? As you dive deeper into the sea of profound decisions without a clear path, you start to feel tense. This can lead to overwhelming agitation and restlessness. Despite the many opportunities available to you, the thought that you're doing so little can prevent you from taking action. So why is that? Whenever you need to make a decision, you evaluate everything to achieve the outcome you desire. You create a list of all possible outcomes and spend weeks, months, or even years ensuring that the decision you make aligns correctly. Even if it delays your action, you want to be certain that your decision is the right one. After all, you don't want to fail. You've probably heard that failures are a part of the journey. While you may agree with this concept, you might struggle to accept that it could happen to you. You might say that what frightens you is not failure, but rather not knowing what you truly want. Have you ever thought about how you desire many things simultaneously and dislike making choices? If you dedicate your time and energy to one thing, it means you can't devote it to other activities you enjoy, right? You just want to take care of yourself, which makes sense. We all want what's best for us. Ultimately, we are each given a life, and we must make the most of it. Clearly, you might have fallen victim to a negative mindset. What's best for you can lead to becoming desperate by ignoring the wonderful opportunities life offers along the way, even after waiting for a year to make a decision. There's no perfect moment when everything becomes clear and you realize everything. You have to start somewhere, and as you take action, the image of what you truly want will gradually clarify over time. You might think that making the best decision takes time and requires thorough consideration. Life isn't just an equation you can solve by talking. You need to take action and get involved in activities. There's no better way to reach what will bring you to the best point in your life. You can't avoid cranes. You can only rise by moving away from them. Your life is a complex mix of both good and bad, and you need to experience all of it. If you spend time thinking, instead of taking action to find answers to your why questions, you won't arrive at any conclusions. You need to go through multiple processes filled with trial and error. By experimenting and tackling different challenges, you gain experience in problem solving by eliminating strategies that didn't work for you in the past. In other words, there isn't a rigid rule or formula that fits everyone. Clearly, this isn't even a formula. These are all attempts to make things that are inherently unfamiliar more familiar. But what if you make a mistake? Since you've interacted with it before, you can give yourself a second chance by learning what to avoid. The best thing about past decisions is that they enable the entire experience. No matter which option you chose in the past, it has led you to a different point in your life. Thanks to where you are now, you've been able to explore different approaches and solutions to navigate the maze of your problems. Sometimes, you may have felt happy fulfilled and that your desires were met. Other times, you might have felt discouraged, tense, and even thought about giving up. This is what the whole journey is about. Every beginning is difficult. It can be hard to redirect yourself from your current path. Stepping outside of your familiar routine is challenging because you need to enter the unknown. Without a practical solution, nothing will be sufficient to motivate you to take that step. Here's a good way to get started. We reinforce doubt and uncertainty with how we talk to ourselves. When you say, "I don't know what I want to do with my life," you focus all your attention on expanding what you don't know. If you direct all your focus to this unhelpful perspective, you'll never discover what you want to do in life. Take a moment to write down the things you are certain about. Shift your focus from the unknown to the known. Write down everything you are sure about regarding your goals, purposes, and desires. What do you know for sure? Perhaps you're certain that you want to travel to different places in the world. Maybe you're confident about starting a new business. Remember, you should focus on the reality of where you want to travel or how you want to start your business. What you need to do is turn the thought, "I don't know what I want to do," into reality by saying, "I want to travel to different places in the world." This way, you can change the conditions. You take the unknown and transform it into the known. Are you sure you want to start your own business? If your answer is yes, go for it and make it happen, whether you succeed or not. No matter the outcome, you are on the right path, because you've gained enough experience to avoid strategies that didn't work the first time and to develop new ones while starting your business. This is the mindset you should have against any doubts you possess. Everything else is unnecessary for you to think about. However, it's worth achieving. When you truly start doing things, you will gradually find the answers over time. The critical point is that during times when you are not active, you shouldn't overthink and analyze things. Just ensure that every action you take aligns with what you are certain about. If you spend too much time and energy thinking and analyzing uncertainty and doubt, you create more space for that uncertainty and doubt to occupy your life. If you fall asleep thinking about these things and wake up thinking about them, they begin to regularly manifest in your life because you're expending your energy on them. When you go shopping and like an outfit, what's your first thought? You think about whether that outfit will fit you. Because you are sure you want to buy it, you try it on. If it doesn't fit, you'll want a different size. But you do all of this for the same piece of clothing. Why not apply this approach to everything you are certain about wanting? Progressing through trial and error will help you reach the point in your life where you feel comfortable. If you fall, you'll get back up because there's still a long way to go to reach your goal. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall, but holding on to all the determination in their little body, they get back up and keep trying until they can do it on their own. It's as if they understand they need to use both hands and feet to stand up. So step out and allow yourself as many trials as you need. After a certain number of experiences, we will all reach the goal of discovering what we desire and what we want. Each of us has our own rhythm. Therefore, we must equip ourselves with patience and go through as many trials as we need. Because when we reach our age, each of us will look back and ask, did we live a life full of blessings, or was it just a series of regrets? Confound them with your silence. Often as humans, our problem with ourselves is expressing things we're not yet ready to reveal to everyone. It seems we all have this issue, and there are countless reasons why we do it. To inform others that we are valuable individuals, we try to make ourselves seem significant, speak condescendingly to others, and sometimes act aggressively to gain respect. we elevate ourselves like gods, voicing everything that can be said to maintain an important position. In this process, we express more than we need to. Have you ever thought about the importance of silence? The main reason you have 2 ears and 1 mouth is to evaluate the right time to speak and listen. Yes, life can sometimes be complex and burdensome. It can shake your balance and give you no reason to be reasonable. However, even though you may not have control over most situations, it's still in your hands to pause for a moment before speaking. Look at others less and focus more on yourself, reflecting deeply. Saying too much can lead to being hurt by your words. On the other hand, being mysterious encourages people to make an extra effort to be friends with you. You don't want to give them ammunition to attack. Be comfortable in your conversations and thoughts. Let the people around you speculate, wonder, and feel on edge. If they shout at you, do nothing. Say nothing. You don't do them a favor. You do yourself a favor. When they try to provoke you, hearing nothing from you will give them much to think about. You become that confident child or girl, the one who makes them question themselves. Your silence disrupts their confidence and interrupts their stream of thoughts about you. They no longer know how to reach you, and you give them no tools or reasons to do so. Just like a man who goes to a party with his friends but doesn't dance, no one laughs at his actions. Why? Because he hasn't danced. Because you don't provide them the opportunity, they'll propose numerous ways to define you. Instead of trying to explain why you're better and they're wrong, why not stay silent and keep working towards your dreams? Never lose sight of the fact that you have a better goal than the conditions around you. You may have heard the popular saying, "Silence is the best answer to a fool." The people around you don't necessarily need to be proven fools. The essence of following your unique path is for your own well-being. Why not confuse them with your silence? While you focus on your goals, you ensure they don't dwell solely on thoughts about you. No one is you, and that's what makes the difference. Let them play the guessing game. When they intend to provoke a negative reaction from you, you don't have to respond to everything they say. Just quietly separate yourself from them and let your actions speak. Keep smiling and confuse them with your choice not to say anything. All you need to do is listen. Listen and let them seek your voice. Let it be difficult for them to figure you out. While you live your life to the fullest, what could be more enjoyable than not giving others anything negative to say about you? Thus, another month of opportunities and challenges comes to an end. You had days to strive and make the most of them. You had time. How did you utilize this? Did you grasp their value and use it to the fullest? Or did you just let everything happen by itself? Our lives are shaped by the actions we take. The path we choose to take them is a result of the knowledge we have and how we use that knowledge. Whether we can progress to a better place in our lives is entirely related to the choices we make and the decisions we take. What did you choose to improve your life this year? What decisions did you make that benefit not just yourself, but those around you? Every year we live is proof that life wants us to accomplish something here on this planet. Even when things don't go as planned and we feel angry and disappointed, life continues to give us more days and months. It expects us to take action, explore, learn, and delve as deeply as possible into what this earthly experience means. How have you spent your months and days? How deeply did you explore your life over the past year? Every day we breathe more air into our lungs is a gift we might take for granted. Sometimes we forget to be grateful for the little things and focus instead on that external pleasure that will never truly satisfy us. Are you grateful for this year that is coming to an end? Have you recognized the value of the small things life has given you, such as health, breath, and energy? All the experiences you've accumulated in the past month form a foundation for the new year. Everything you do now creates the environment for your future. Everything you do and how you do it has paved the way to bring you to where you are now, to the brink of this new beginning. Are you proud of the foundations you've built? Were you grateful for the resources that helped you build them? If you keep standing still, you will never move forward. Better results will always stem from better actions. If you acquire better knowledge that helps you understand this ever-changing world better, you will be able to act more effectively. Have you learned something new this year? Has this led you to a different understanding of the world you live in? What other lessons have you learned to face the challenges that this new year will bring? How ready are you? Now close your eyes and think about your life over the past year. What memories come to mind? Do they make you smile? Or do they perhaps evoke feelings of shame and anxiety? The choices you made are irrevocable. But now, here, you are in this new order of your life. You are given the opportunity to achieve different outcomes by doing things differently. Are you ready to welcome this new year with an open mind and an open heart? Are you prepared to focus and concentrate on what truly matters? Perhaps you lacked the courage to seize every opportunity and make something of it. But now you can, if you let the opinions of others drift away with the wind and stand firm by trusting what you believe in and care about. You can put yourself forward and invest in the dreams your heart longs for. What if you put in hard work in a specific area where you feel happy and satisfied while doing so? What if you worked hard to become the #1 player in your field? What if you read more and learned more from those who have tasted a slice of the success pie? We are surrounded by life in every shape, size, and form. We are exposed to an immense amount of knowledge. What if this year you decided to open your mind and accept that you have much more to learn? What if you decided that this year would be a monthly preparation period for the next level you wish to reach? Your life will only improve when you decide that the time has come to make it happen. At any moment, you have all the tools necessary to achieve this. Is there something you can do this year to completely change your life for the better? What is stopping you from making this new year better than the one that is ending? One day a child goes to his father and asks, "What is the value of my life?" The father hands him a stone and says, "Son, if you want to understand the value of your life, take this stone and go to the grocer. If someone asks for the price, don't say anything, just raise 2 fingers." The son follows his father's instructions and goes to the grocer. While wandering around, he suddenly approaches an elderly woman and asks, "How much is this stone?" The child says nothing, just raises 2 fingers. The woman responds, "Should I give you $1?" The child is surprised and returns to his father. "Dad, there was an old woman at the grocer. She wanted to give me $1 for the stone," he says. The father replies, "Son, the next place I want you to go is the museum. If someone asks for the price, don't say anything, just raise 2 fingers." The son takes the stone and heads to the museum. About 10 minutes later, a middle-aged man approaches him and asks what the price of the stone is. The child says nothing, just raises 2 fingers. The man replies, "Is it $1? I'll take it." The child is again surprised and goes home to his father. Dad, the old man in the jewelry store offered me $1,000 for the stone," he exclaims. The father responds, "Did you see, son? Now do you understand the meaning of your life? Life is about where you place yourself. You can decide whether you want to be a stone worth $1 or one worth $1,000. There are people who love you. To some, you mean a lot. Other people will use you like an object. To them, you mean nothing. So it is up to you to decide what your life is worth, son. If you can hold your head high and keep your composure when everyone around you panics because they know you as the cause, if you can trust yourself when no one else does and justify their lack of trust, if you know how to wait and do not tire of waiting, if lies are told about you and you don't deal with lies, or if you are hated and you don't succumb to that hate, with all of this, if you neither seem too good nor too wise, if you can imagine but are not enslaved by your dreams, if you can think and turn your thoughts into purpose, if you can face victory and defeat and treat both situations the same, if you can endure having a truth you speak twisted by some lowlifes to trap fools, or if you can see the things you dedicated your life to crumble and still rebuild them with worn-out tools, if you can risk all your earnings on a game of heads or tails and start over after losing, if you can lose and never once complain about it, if you can push your heart, nerves, and muscles to work long after they're worn out, and if you can hold on when there's nothing left in you but the will to say, endure, if you can speak among the crowds while keeping your dignity, or walk with kings without losing the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, what's more, you'll be a man, my son. I will teach you how to think correctly. You should know that the greatest difference between successful and unsuccessful people lies in how they think. I'm not talking about being smart or IQ. I'm talking about how you and I think. Successful people think differently than unsuccessful ones. Thinking correctly leads to a good and proper life. Thinking foolishly leads to a wrong life. If you want a fulfilled life, you must fill your mind with the right things. You should focus on the present. What many leaders understand is that today is what truly matters. We exaggerate what we can do tomorrow and magnify what we did yesterday. In contrast, we underestimate what we can do right now. The only moment you have, the only moment I have, is this moment. So the only question for all of us is, what am I doing with my moment? Good leaders are in the moment and therefore live it to the fullest. If you want to take a small glance at the future, go ahead, but return immediately to the present, because today you are working to turn tomorrow into a success. There is no limit beyond the boundaries you set in your mind. It will be hard, but it doesn't mean impossible. You won't get it if you just look to try what you can truly do. You will achieve. Once you take the first step into action and determine your direction, everything will start flowing your way. Be aware of your potential possibilities beyond mere commitment. Stay in the game long enough to see if it's beneficial. You can write down your goals with a pen, but you will need to reach them with your legs. You must take action, and what separates us is action. The greatest difference in this world is between knowing and doing. Knowing is setting goals. Doing is reaching those goals. People who have established their mindset say that it takes time for something to become a habit. Habits can be good or bad. Over time, you can develop habits that either benefit or harm you. Evolving individuals develop habits that help them. The value of a good habit is that you don't have to think about it. That's precisely why it's called a habit. In other words, once you start doing something good, it becomes automatic over days and months. You become who you are. I often tell people to repeat a good habit until it becomes theirs. Once it belongs to you, it becomes automatic. You'll do what you need to do every day. I often feel that everything worth doing is difficult. That's a fact. You've never heard anyone talk about a success that was achieved by accident. When someone at the top of a mountain is asked, "How did you do this?" they look a bit puzzled and say, "I have no idea." They know how they got there. The reason they reached the top is that they had to climb the mountain. No one lifted them up. There were no shortcuts, no elevators, no escalators. What gets you to the top of the mountain is hard work. What I want you to understand is that inspiration is much more effective when supported by sweat. There are many people, all of them want to be inspired for great things, but they don't want to work hard to achieve those great things. There's no, "I want to hold the rose but not get pricked by the thorns." If you hold the rose, the thorns will prick you. Today, I truly believe that you will roll up your sleeves and tackle something you haven't done in a long time. Once you do it, you'll be amazed at the inspiration you receive. Don't wait for inspiration before you do something. Once upon a time, there was a young man working in a factory. His mentor, an older technician, taught him to talk less and do more, and to continuously develop his skills in operating the factory. A year later, the old man retired, and the young man became a technician. He continued to perform his job with the same dedication and effort as he had been taught. One day, the young man went to visit his mentor. The old man noticed he looked unhappy and asked him what was bothering him. The young man sighed and poured out his heart. "I've applied everything you taught me over the years. Whatever job I do, I stay quiet and focus on the work. I know I do a good job at the factory, and I've learned all the tasks there. What I don't understand is why all the men who don't have my experience or skills have been promoted while I was still your apprentice, doing less than before." The old man asked, "Are you sure you're indispensable to the factory?" The young man nodded. "Yes." The old man stepped back to think for a moment. After a while, he turned to the young man and said, "For a reason you want, you need to ask for a day off. It's time for you to take a break." The young man was shocked by this advice, but as he thought about it, it started to make more sense. He thanked his mentor and quickly left to ask for time off. After his day off, when he returned to work, his manager called him into the office to tell him that things hadn't gone well in the factory while he was gone. Others had faced problems that he normally handled and had no idea how to solve them. After realizing how important the young man was, the manager decided to promote him to the position of senior technician, to thank him and encourage him to continue doing great work. The young man was grateful for his mentor's wisdom, believing it to be the secret to success. From that point on, whenever he felt he deserved more, he would take a day off. When he returned to work the next day, the situation would improve to his satisfaction. This continued for months. One day he learned that he was banned from entering the factory. In shock, he discovered he had been fired. He couldn't believe it and didn't know what to do. To understand how things had gone so wrong, he went back to his mentor. Hurt pride in his voice, he asked, "Why did I lose my job? Didn't I do everything you taught me?" The old man nodded. "Actually, you didn't, because you only listened to half of the lesson." He quickly realized that nobody pays attention to a light bulb that is always on. People only notice it when it goes out, and then they realize they took it for granted. You were so eager to apply that knowledge that you left without hearing the second part. The young man suddenly understood he might have made a big mistake. The second part, the mentor slowly clarified to emphasize his point, is more important than the first. It's understanding that a light bulb that frequently goes out will eventually be replaced by a more reliable one. Who wants a light bulb that can't be counted on to provide illumination? In life, do you have friends and family members whose value you take for granted? They are always there for you. What happens if one day they are not? Don't wait for such a day to suddenly realize how important they are. Be grateful they are in your life. Also, don't allow yourself to be taken for granted. At the same time, do your job and don't give up just because things aren't going the way you want. Find balance in life. Life rewards you by restoring that balance. Stay well. Once upon a time, there was a young athlete who was never satisfied with success. Winning meant everything to him, and success was measured solely by victories. One day, he was preparing to compete in a race against two other young boys in his village. A large crowd gathered to witness the event. A wise old man traveled from afar to witness this moment, having heard that the young boy would be competing. The race began, and it was intense until the finish line. The boy truly put in great effort and used all his determination and strength. He crossed the finish line first. The crowd was ecstatic, cheering and waving at him. The wise man remained calm, showing no emotion. However, the young boy felt proud and important. For the second race, two new competitors stepped up to race against the young boy. The race started again, and the young boy pulled ahead to finish first once more. The spectators were again thrilled, cheering and waving at him. The wise man remained composed, showing no reaction. Yet again, the young boy felt proud and significant. One more race, pleaded the little boy. The wise man stepped forward and introduced the boy to the two new competitors. One was a frail old woman, and the other was a blind man. "What's this?" the little boy exclaimed. "This doesn't count as a race," he cried. "This is the race," the wise man said. The race began, and the only person who reached the finish line was the little boy. The other two competitors remained at the starting line. The little boy was overjoyed and raised his arms in celebration. However, the crowd was silent. They showed no reaction to the little boy. "What happened? Why aren't people celebrating?" the child asked the wise man. "Race again," the wise man replied. "This time, all three of you come to the finish line together," he added. The little boy thought for a moment. He stood between the blind man and the frail old woman, taking both of their hands. The race started, and the little boy walked slowly, very slowly, toward the finish line and crossed it. The spectators were thrilled. They cheered and waved at the child. The wise man smiled and nodded slightly. The little boy felt proud and important. "Old man, I don't understand. Who is the crowd cheering for? Which of the three of us?" the little boy asked. The wise old man looked into the child's eyes, placed his hands on the boy's shoulders, and gently replied, "Little one, in this race you gained more than in any of the previous races you ran. Furthermore, the crowd didn't cheer for any winner in this race. What are you running for in your life? Are you hungry for success? Do you measure your life only by wins? Who are you racing against? When you win against everyone, people will no longer cheer for you. When you look back at the end of your life, who was running with you in this race? If they were weak and old, would you help them cross the line? Would you finish together? Because this race is the best race you can run. So run in this race called life. But remember this, it doesn't matter if you win. What matters is how you run this race. We were given life, but no roadmap or manual was provided. We are left with blank pages to write our own stories, no matter what we do or how we do it. Years pass from our lives. We are in constant motion and must keep pace with these years. Sometimes we may have to run. Other times we may need to rest and let others pass. Have you caught up to last year? Do you feel like you've surpassed it? Or has it beaten you? How satisfied are you with the life you've built up to now? Everything you accomplished last year has resulted in your current perception of life. Every experience you've had has laid bricks to build a higher foundation for where you are now. How high are you sitting at this moment? Can you see the peaks of mountains and tall buildings? Or are you still gazing at them with longing? The determination and focus you've shown in your actions have brought you to where you are now. Your willingness to let go of unproductive energies and time wasters has determined how well you perform. The dedication you've shown in creating your work environment has greatly impacted the results you've achieved. In a good recipe, each ingredient requires a specific amount. There's a certain balance you need to achieve to enjoy the final outcome. How does your life taste right now? Have you followed the recipe your soul needs? Or have you allowed others to mix their ingredients into your life? Life can sometimes place us in strange and even desperate situations. We might feel overwhelmed by many foreign elements surrounding us. Whether these background elements affect our lives is entirely up to us. How we choose to react to what happens shapes whether our lives are good or bad. It's about whether we choose to learn from these events or focus on blaming life for putting us in those circumstances. Which experiences from last year did you learn from? What did you discover? Life advice won't be served to us on a silver platter while we sit waiting for a miracle to happen. We have two eyes to see and to become aware. If we open them wide enough, we may have a chance to see all the opportunities and doors life offers us. In every experience, we can choose to see a lesson, a blessing, or even a hint about what we need to do next to create the life we want. How much of the life you've lived so far do you see as a blessing? How grateful are you for what you experienced last year? If you're here contemplating how you should live next year, then you're lucky. You are given the privilege to continue working in this world to create more, discover more, learn more, and serve more. What do you want to do next? Do you have any wishes or desires for this new year? How do you envision living in the coming month? Let's say you were offered one more year to live. No matter what you do or what medications or treatments you use, you would only gain the right to live one more year. What would you do in those last 12 months? How would you treat the people around you? What words would you choose to use in your conversations? What books would you read? Where would you go? What would you do? No one knows how much time they have left. We have been given a life, but it has its limits. Opportunities and chances are presented to us, but they are not infinite. We have years to live, but none of us know exactly how many. So why not make this new year the best one yet? We don't know where we're going or for how long, so why not make it extraordinary? Forget the limiting education you've received about your thoughts. Forget what others say about your appearance or your ideas. Forget your failures and only remember the lessons they brought. Why not start fresh from the very beginning? We are about to experience new seasons that can help us create new scenarios for our lives. We're stepping into a new episode of our life's soap opera, so why not allow it to win an Oscar? Why not bring your truest and most authentic self to the set of your life and play the best role you can? Why not make this new year a year of preparation and hard work for this role that many others appreciate and recognize? Why not? Life is your life. Don't allow yourself to be pushed into a sorrowful surrender. Be ready for what you've been waiting for. There is surely a way out. There is light somewhere. It may not be very bright, but it pushes back the darkness. Be ready for what you've been waiting for. God will present you with opportunities. Recognize and use them. You can't conquer death, but you can eliminate dying while you live. It will become brighter as you learn. Life is your life. Embrace it while you still have it. You are magnificent. God is waiting to make you happy. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This may mean losing friends. You may lose your loved ones, your job, and maybe even your mind. It may mean going hungry for 3 or 4 days, freezing on a park bench, or being imprisoned. It may mean being humiliated, ridiculed, or alone. But being alone is a gift. Everything else tests how strong your resilience is. And you will. You will face rejection and, at worst, a fall. And it will be more beautiful than everything you've dreamed of. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no feeling like it. You will be alone with God, and the nights will glow in the fire. Do it, do it, do it. Do it all the way to the end. You will spread life with a perfectly straight smile. That's the only beautiful fight. Don't go gently into that good night. Old age should burn and rave when the day is done. Rage, rage. Even wise men are buried in darkness against the light's death. Good men raise their hands one last time, shouting fervently. They may dance in a green bay of useless deeds, but they too will rage. They are the wild men who caught the sun as it set. They will realize too late that they mourned. They do not go gently into that good night. Blind eyes flare up like meteors, burning with a vision that blinds. Even the gravely ill men become enraged. They rage against the death of light. And you, my Father, up there in sorrow, I beg you, curse and bless me now with your merciless tears. But don't go gently into that good night. Rage, rage. You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist against the death of light. Let us sacrifice today so that our children may have a better tomorrow. The hardest thing is to make the decision to act. The rest is merely perseverance. Fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can take action to change and control your life. The process is the reward itself. Don't pay attention to anything anyone else says about someone else. Judge everyone and everything for yourself. Learning never tires the mind. God, make me a vessel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Good judgment comes from experience. Most often it comes from bad judgment. No good deed, no matter how small, is ever wasted. It's much better to be alone than to be in a bad partnership. If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. Persistence, determination, and continuity in the face of all obstacles, deterrents, and impossibilities. This is what separates the strong spirit from the weak. Always hold your face toward the sun. The shadows will fall behind you. You've tried before. You've failed before. It doesn't matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better. Spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails accordingly. Being completely honest with yourself is a good exercise. This is you. The most persistent and important question of life is, what are you doing for others? What we achieve sincerely will change the outer reality. Judge each day not by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. However, we often look so long at the closed door that we fail to see the one that has been opened. No one needs to wait a moment before starting to make the world a better place. Move forward confidently in line with your dreams. Live the life you envision. Always remember that you are absolutely unique, just like everyone else. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. Most people today are surrendering to addiction, exposing themselves excessively to technology. They check their smartphones daily, which is not controlling technology, but rather an escape from reality. Many may not realize they are addicted to their devices, notifications, or even their excuses. This behavior signifies an escape from an inner pain that hasn't been addressed. I believe there is a brokenness in many hearts because they have betrayed their dreams, ambitions, values, and missions by adopting the collective hypnosis that the world offers. People often dismiss their struggles by saying, "Everyone does this," as they practice in school. Their unhappiness stems from an inability to sit quietly alone, distracted and lacking the quiet spaces their lives can provide. We mistakenly think we should live this way because a large part of the population does. The root cause of humanity's struggle with distractions is the subconscious pain they seek to escape. Why are they in pain? Because they do not want to feel it. Facing pain requires courage. If you have betrayed your potential and are not shining your light in the world, you are not just doing harm. You are exacerbating your own pain. Bring your potential and light to the world. If you don't, your pain will grow. The hidden turmoil inside you will escalate, leading to increased substance use or negativity. If you wonder why there is so much hate in the world while scrolling through notifications and social media, it's because of this dopamine addiction. Start the process of breaking your distraction addiction today. Many people are excessively reliant on their screens, wasting their potential while building empires for others on social platforms. Many people today have taken on a form akin to artificial intelligence. They don't utilize their brain's potential, psychological capabilities, creative talents, or human potential. Why? Because they have become dependent on screens. Most people are lost and addicted. Turn off your phones and take this seriously. This is your life. Recognize that.